Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare. Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam. Sadguru Maharaj ki Jnana Vairagya Sampurnan Hari Bhakti Parayanan Purva Acharyan Aham Vande Ye Sampradaya Pravartakane. Hare Rameti Krishneti Nama Sankirtanam Sada Lokakshemaya Kurvantam Premikam Sadgurum Bhaje Ye Kalage Sundarakaram Sadaika Priyadarshanam Ajnananashakam Devam Sadgurum Muralidaram Murali Mandita Karakamalam Munijana Mohanam Vyatyasta Padam Vanamala Dharinam Prema Bhakta Mandala Nitya Kirtitam Premika Varadam Ashrayegam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranata Klesha Nashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha Tannamami Harim Param. Buddhir Balam Yashodhairyam Nirvayatvam Arogata Ajatyam Vakpadutvancha Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda Sadguru Maharaj ki. With the immense blessings of our beloved Guru Maharaj, Maharanyam Sri Sri Muralidhara Swamiji, and the causeless mercy of Sri Madhuri Sakhi Sameta Premika Varda Thakurji, today and tomorrow we are going to discuss about prayers. And our Raleigh God Satsang is coordinating these two satsangs. And we are trying to explore this topic as discussion only. And we will discuss like friends about something which is of importance to both of us. And we are all a part of satsang. So some basic things are assumed already. And the basic things are that there is somebody called Bhagavan, and that Bhagavan is, as far as we are concerned, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He is the one who sustains this universe, who dissolves this universe and then creates it again like a cycle. Apart from his great auspicious qualities like Sarva Shaktan, omnipotent, Sarva Antaryami, he is immanent in this creation. He is right within me as my inner controller, Antaryami. And Sarva Vyapi, there is not a place where he is not. And Sarva Karma Phala Pradhan, the fruits of my labor, fruits of my karma has been disbursed by Bhagavan. All this are not going to be of use to me unless I realize that he is also Sarva Sharanyan, Bhakta Vatsalan, Sharanagata Vatsalan, Premika Varadan. That apart from all this power he has and greatness he has, all that, he is also the one who gives refuge to those who have surrendered to him. And he is also the one who has tremendous compassion towards people who call out to him, Bhakta Vatsalan, who love him. Even sadhana bhakti, even as a practice, we are trying to practice some practices of Bhagavata Dharma, like I'm sitting down listening to Bhagavatam. I'm doing Nama Japa, whether there is involvement in my heart or not. Bhagavan considers them also as bhaktas. And today, we will look at the actual concept of prayer itself. And most of the questions which we have received are about how to do the prayer properly. And why are some prayers answered, why are some not, etc. So how do we do the prayer properly is the topic of tomorrow's session. We will use, our Swamiji very beautifully showed Kunti Stuti as a guide for us to do prayers. But today let us understand what this prayer is. Let us understand ourselves a little bit. And if we get that intelligence before that prayer tomorrow, then the prayers can be done in the right way, with the right spirit, with the right intent and purpose. We as human beings start our life with prayer only. The first cries of a baby, the moment it is born, and in Sanskritam, that cry itself has a meaning. Kwa, na, where, you see. The child is crying where? And maybe the child does not know where is my source of nourishment, Kwa. Where is my source of security, Kwa. If I am hungry, what will I eat or drink, Kwa. And suddenly I am into a new world. How am I going to survive in this world? Where is my source of survival? Kwa, it is crying. That's why we say Kwa, the baby is crying. Kwa in Sanskrit means where. And so the first cry of a baby itself is a cry of a prayer. It wants intuitively. Maybe it's hungry, so it's crying. Maybe it needs some security, a foster, a care of a fostering of a mother. So it is crying. So the first act of a baby, we can see it as a prayer only when it cries. And when it is born, it cries because it has no idea. It does not know where the source of nourishment is. In fact, it does not even know whether there is going to be any source of nourishment. In Tamil, we say, Kanna Katti Kaatla Utta Mari. This little child has been suddenly brought forth to the world, completely new to the child as a child. And it's confused, it does not know. It is frail, it is weak. And the beauty of nature, beauty of our Radharani is, we get the maximum love, affection towards that which is the most frail, the baby. Otherwise, can you imagine? If we don't have that natural affection towards the baby, this whole human race, or any race for that matter, any baby is frail. Even the snake, even the lion, even the most mighty and mother Gaja, they have this affection towards their baby. Abdi or bond, Bhagavan has put, because he understands. For this species to sustain, the parents' fostering is very important for the baby. And Bhagavan has put that in the Maya Vaichitriya. And so the mother and father has tremendous love towards the baby. They completely sacrifice their sleep, their other normal day-to-day routines, and the whole life suddenly becomes baby-centered. And the baby now, after some time, gets to a better stage of crying. First, it has no idea, where am I going to get my source of nourishment from? Who is going to take care of me? Who is going to protect me? None of my organs are behaving the way I want to. If I want to move my hand, it is very clumsy. And I'm confused where I am. I'm not even able to see properly. So when that baby is in that state of confusion, insecurity, then slowly it understands, good, because I am born, mother has to be there. You see, it understands. And just by my birth, there is somebody who takes care of me. I don't have to prove something. I don't have to earn something. The fact that I'm here as a baby and the mother gave birth to me, and there is a father and mother who will take care of me just because I am their baby. No other eligibility for me. Just being the baby to a mother is a connection enough for the mother to sacrifice a lot of stuff to take care of the baby. And the baby realizes that. Now, as it grows up a little, maybe it's an infant now it knows that the needs are taken care. The basic needs are taken care. And then the baby cries for something at the father and the mother. When it is alone and it's taken care, it is happy. When it needs something, it catches the attention of father and mother. And the father and mother comes when the baby cries. It knows that if I cry, somebody will come. At my beck and call, there are two people in this world. Wherever I cry, whenever I cry, middle of the night I cry, somebody will comfort me. Not at the time when it was born. When it's a baby, it doesn't know. And so it cried. It cried out of insecurity. It cried out of a tremendous sense of, how am I going to be sustained? And now as it grows a little older, now this baby knows, if I cry, somebody will come to me. If I feel bored, I don't care what my mother and father are doing. I'll cry, they will be there to entertain me. And when I need something, I cry. Even if I don't know to tell it properly, my mother and father will figure it out over time. That I cry, the mother will think, is it crying because of hunger? Is it crying because of thirst? Is it crying because of unease? Is it crying because of some digestive issue? Is it crying because it needs a little attention? All that parents figure out now. But now the child will understand, now I know I have somebody. I can't walk to that somebody. I can't toddle to that somebody. If I cry, that somebody will come because I can't go there. They can come here. That's a second level prayer by a child. What can a child do? Is it weak? Absolutely, it's weak. Is it frail? Absolutely, it is frail. But the first frailty was fraught with insecurity. The second frailty, or the second stage of insecurity, or second stage of need and crying, is now no longer insecure. It knows exactly I have a provider here. And the second cry is knowing there is a provider and I can't go to the provider. Let the provider come to me and provide. You see, that's the second level. And now as the baby grows, it is nourished by father and mother. It is educated by a teacher. It is taken care by the society. Everybody does their bit now. To take care of each and every baby, everybody does their bit, directly or indirectly. And it becomes old enough, and it's no longer weak. And now it is well established. It left its homeland, and it came to another place and made it as the homeland. And now this baby is no longer a baby. It's a young person who earns, he has earned, or she has earned, means for livelihood, respect from others, tremendous sense of security. But there is something a true son or a daughter would always long for, and it is the memory and gratitude to the parents and wanting to see them at least once in a while. If I can't even take care of them, my parents are well off, they can take care of themselves, but I want to see them. So every now and then, I want to see my parent. Earlier, I cried. I had a prayer because I had no idea how I'm going to be taken care. Then I understood, I know how I'm going to be taken care, but I can't go and get it from them. I need to cry so that it can come and take care of me. Now I don't have any needs which need to be fulfilled by somebody else. I don't have any desires which needs to be fulfilled by somebody else. Yet I have one desire. That desire is, I want to see my parents because of that love I have towards them. No, the first one is a need. Second one, insecure need, secure need. And third one is love, isn't it? Where I want to see. This is how a human progresses also in the spirituality of prayer, says Vrittasura. He says, Ajata Pakshaha Ihamataram Kagaga Stanyam Yata Vatsadarakshudhartaha Priyam Priyeva Vyushitam Vishanna Mano Aravindaksha Didrikshate Tvam. 3 steps of prayers. First step is like a small fledgling which broke open from the egg. Suddenly, there is this bright new world, which is very different from a contained little shell it used to be inside. Suddenly, it is seeing so much variety. So it doesn't know what to do. It is hungry, and the parents are not there. The mother and the father, whether it is sparrow or crow or whatever, has ran out because it knows that the child has just been born. And these two cannot feed the child directly. It has to catch food from somewhere and feed the child. It does not have the capability to feed the child like mammals. So it has gone out to collect food for the little fledgling out there. And that fledgling, in that meanwhile, doesn't know what to do. I'm in a new world. I'm helpless. I'm weak. Who will protect me? Who will take care of me? I am hungry. I can't go and find my own food. I can't even step out of the nest. What will happen of me? So, with that helplessness, which is rooted in both a deep need and ignorance, first step, ignorance and a need. This fledgling is crying out. Not even know, is there a mother? Is there a father? Is there a source of nourishment for me? What will I do? I feel lost. That's the first step. Like a baby who is just born is crying out because it's lost. It doesn't know what. And then the next example given by that Vrittasura is Stanyam Yata Vatsa Dharakshudartaha. The mother is away. The calf is away. Now the calf knows the source of nourishment. And calf knows that if I go to the mother, I will get my milk. But I am tired, my mother is tired. I don't have the power to cross over and go and get that milk. And so the calf cries out for the mother to come so that it can get that milk. Stanyam yata vatsadarakshudat. The first one is the starting level of a prayer where there is both weakness and there is also ignorance, a sense of tremendous insecurity. Because I don't know where to hold my faith on. I don't know at all. The second level, I know where my source of nourishment is, but I am not able to go there to get it. So I need some help. I supplicate. See. And the mother finds a way to give the child the milk. The third state is that of love, where there is no basic lower level physical need or insecure need, nothing is there. But because of the tremendous love, like a chaste wife waiting for her husband to return, he has promised that I will come back by Holi. He goes out. And Holi has come, but he has not come back. And what does he need? The pantry is full, no problem. You see, food is there. People are there to take care. There's nothing kami at all. But there is one kami, that love longs for darshanam. I want to see my beloved. You see. So there is a prayer there. So here, in our own lives, I just gave you the same parallel, which we can relate to better. As a baby, I don't know where I'm going to get my food. And I don't know, I know that I need food. I have a need, I have a want, and I feel insecure because I don't know who is going to fulfill my want. And the first prayer comes in forms of cries because I don't know. I don't know to speak. I don't know even to ask. My thoughts are not being transmitted into a meaningful language because thoughts are there. Na baby knows, na it wants food, it knows, but it's not able to put it in a language which people can understand. So out of the helplessness, it cries. And then the baby grows a little more. It knows there is somebody called mother, father to take care of me. But then when it needs something and it is incapable of fulfilling the need, it cries out to get the support from the mother and father. When the baby becomes a youngster and it is taken care, needs are all taken care. Yet because of love, it still cries. Just to see. I call Zoom call pani. Na paaknu na se. Avladam. Just want to see you. There is a prayer. Please come to Zoom. I want to see you. No prayer. Now this prayer is a supreme prayer. Why? Because it is not rooted from any requirement, need. It is not rooted in any ignorance or insecurity. It is rooted out of strength. It's the strength of love. And I pray, please come. I want to see you. And that is why you start from a position of weakness and pray or cry out. Cry out, na pray. Khadral dana pray. When we cry out. We cry out for fulfilling the needs first out of insecurity. I don't know. And then by some pre-arranged way or by some evolution or whatever, I understand. I know where my nourishment will come from. And then I start doing the prayers directed towards I know who. But I still have a need. But then I go to the third stage as for Vrittasura. And I just have a prayer for something highest level need. I have a prayer for seeing you, my provider. You took care of me now. You took care of me, gave me security. You made me what I am today. And I'm welling with gratitude. And so I long to see you. That's all. You see. And that is the highest form of prayer. And that is a state where even people who are actualized have prayers. People pray from the position of strength. And so these are the three types of prayers, as shown by our Vrittasura. Vrittasura is saying that this is what I want. And the third one is called Kamam. Prayer comes when there is a need. Vrittasura's 4 slokas are, the first sloka talks about dharma. Dharma is Bhagavata Seva. Dharma is Manam, Vak, Kayam. Applying it to Bhagavan Sri Krishna Seva than dharma. Other dharmas are supportive dharmas. So the first sloka in Vrittasura's 4 slokas, since most of us know these 4 slokas, I'm referring. First dharma or my purpose, my values is, how do I get into the company of Mahans or Mahan? And how do I apply myself? How do I offer myself, whatever is given to me in form of speech, in form of my body, in form of my mind? How do I employ that in gratitude for Bhagavan Sri Krishna's service? Dharma. And the second is Artha. Artha means, what do I want as a security? What do I want? I don't want any post position, etc. And the third one is Kama. Kama means, what do I desire? He's saying, I desire only your darshanam. I desire just to be with you. I desire only to listen sweet words from you. Other lower level needs, I don't need, I don't care, or it's already taken care by you. And the fourth one is called moksha, or salvation, or liberation. Liberate me from the company of people who don't understand you, who constantly are rooted in selfishness, ahankara and mamakara. So you have this 4. So here, since we are talking about the prayer, the third sloka of Vrittasura talks about the prayer. And he talks exactly the 3 stages we told about. A prayer where there is a need, a selfish need, nothing wrong. A selfish need. A selfish need rooted in ignorance and insecurity is the first level prayer. A selfish need which is now not rooted in ignorance or insecurity, I know very well where I can get the need done. It is rooted in faith and experience. Third one is, can I use the word selfless? Where there is love, there is no selfishness. Third is a prayer from love. And between these three, you can put all the other prayers. Prayers for love, prayers for wisdom, prayers for peace of mind, everything is in between. So you have these three types of prayers. Some people pray not even knowing what will I do. Who is there to take care of me? Prayer. Then people go to satsanga or they hear from their elders in the family, Krishna, I have a problem. When will you solve that problem? I'm not able to solve it fully by myself. I will try my best. You also need to bestow your grace. And the third type of prayer is a prayer of a jnani. That prayer of the jnani is, when will I see? De darshan ko dhan. Nayanam baso siyaram. Right? Darishanam taralaga, etc. So between these three prayers, a Bhagavata is telling that prayers are these three. Two are obviously in apparent weakness. Anyway, weakness is there. That is inborn with us. Obviously, we have limitations. And the limitations, if you call it as weakness, so be it. We have limitations for everything now. We have limitations with our sense organs. Eyes cannot see beyond certain things. Beyond certain resolution, I can't see. My eyes are not so subtle to see if somebody has written something in a grain of rice. I can't see. I have to use a magnifying glass to see. I need a support. I need a supplement for my seeing to see things which are very subtle. Same thing with ears. If the voice is too low, I need a magnification. I need something to make it stronger so that I can listen. Same thing is with smell. Same thing with taste. Same thing with touch. Earlier days, when somebody has a fever, fever. Now that's not enough. Now you have some thermometers because the touch is not enough for me to know the real temperature. So, like that, I have limitations for intellect. So, some things I can't understand right now. And I need a supplement for that. And that supplement is, how do I train my intellect? How do I sharpen it? How do I make it really fit to understand higher things of this world and beyond? Likewise, to get my goals met also, I can't do it on my own. If at all I can see a species which is self-existent, those are the trees. And they seem to actually exist on earth, air, water. That's it, that's enough. And I've heard in one of those documentaries, and if human race were to suddenly disappear after, say, 1 million years from now, what happens is the rest of the nature flourishes. You see, if any part of the nature apart from humans is not there, we humans may never survive, it seems, because that's the intricate balance. And so trees doesn't seem to need any other species intervention. Maybe it needs a little nitrogenation by some microbes, etc., but to a very less degree. We humans are the ones who are most complexly interrelated, depend on each other for even fulfilling our day-to-day needs, isn't it? And when we understand what I am, then we already said we will explore it. We'll explore it now so that we understand where prayers comes from. When I say, why do I need to pray? I'm already taken care. I would say you still need to pray. If not from weakness, if you think you are strong, pray from strength. And that prayer is not a prayer of petition or to intercede, intercession. It is a prayer of adoration and gratitude. That's also a prayer. And we tried to do that about 2 months back. It's worth reiterating that value. When I say I don't need to pray, I am strong enough. You'd be surprised that when you dissect the I, it disappears. And it is like very interesting stuff. Buddhists ask a lovely question. You say it's a chariot. Okay. And suppose I take one by one the parts of the chariot. I take the wheel of the chariot off. Is this chariot? No, it is not. Throw it off. I take a seat. Is this chariot? No, throw it off. Now I take the reins in the chariot. Is it a chariot? No, throw it off. Horses, throw it off. And the umbrella, throw it. Where is the chariot? You see, without all these parts coming together, there is nothing called a chariot which exists in itself. Right? Good logic, na? Likewise, when I say I, what is that I? I is an assembly like a chariot of many things which has nothing to do with I at all. I is merely a notion which we give to an assembly or a compound of lot of things which has nothing to do with that me which I understand as me right now. If you understand our body, this body came from my mother and father because of their passing down of their genes to us, right? That's what genetics says. Most of them at least agree 50% of what we are genetics. Some people make it a little more also. And the rest is all environment. And there is always this eternal debate between nurture and nature. Is nature dominant or nurture dominant? If a person is a person because of nature, what is passed down by parents, grandparents, etc., as genetics. Does nature define a person more than the nurture? Nurture means the environment which nurtured him or her. So here, nature and nurture, both are not aina. If I say this chap is having aptitude, you have aptitude tests. What does aptitude mean? That's a theory saying that intelligences are many types, and this person has the fundamental intelligence of music, a fine art. That person has a fundamental intelligence of expressing in form of a dance. You see, the body movements seems to be very elegant naturally. And some people are naturally endowed with a little more aptitude towards, say, maths and science. Some have aptitude towards understanding people. That's an intelligence. Some have the aptitude of getting work from people. Maha intelligence. And so this aptitude, and they trace it back to maybe 50% genetics. Chalo. 50% genetics, 50% is environment. Now 50% genetics is not me, na. It is given or passed down by mother and father. What about mother and father, grandmother and grandfather? What about grandmother and grandfather? My now it is becoming slowly exponential. Mother and father 1, grandmother and grandfather now 4. You go to great grandfather, great grandmother, now it becomes double. You see, goes on like that. And so let us not go too much, at least 3 levels up. Let us feel, I am what I am because of my first level parents, my parents' parents, and parents' parents' parents. And so when I am able to do something well, and there is some basic intelligence which has been passed down, obviously, and other life forms can't do that now, what I am doing right now. So I need to be, first of all, understanding that what I am as a physiological person, including brain, including my genetic makeup, some people are immune, some people are not. Variety irke. Genetics then finally, 50% at least. So I need to be grateful for my father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, great-grandfather, great-grandmother for that. So the I portion, in that I, the portion of my brain, its capacity, and its natural talent, and the basic strength I have, etc., I can't say I'm a self-made man for this because I was not made by myself. That I owe it to my parents eternally. Till I have this body, I owe it to my parents. Until our scriptures give only one exception. If you are absolutely having 100% dispassion and you take sannyasana, that tremendous debt you have for somebody who gave this body, you are relieved because you are not nurturing your body, you are nurturing your soul. One exception alone for that. See. So I'm indebted to my parents because the I portion, I did it. I solved it. I am famous, etc. That major portion of the I came from my parents, ancestors, starting from my parents. The second thing, which is the constituent of that I, is the nurture or environment I grew up with. which means somebody taught me how to count. Somebody taught me how to read. Somebody taught me how to add right from my childhood. My mother is the first teacher, and my teacher is my second mother, you see. And so other humans have contributed their bit in me understanding something, in me being exposed to something. And even when I was a child, even my efforts were encouraged by somebody. I was fed properly at the right time by somebody. I was ensured that I was free from distractions when I needed to put my focus. You see, if you get these two, then the rest is simple. The food I eat without which I can't think properly. Try fasting for 5 days. Can you think? This is a question asked in Upanishads. He said, okay, you want to know what your mind is made of? Wait. Huh? Don't eat for 5 days. After 5 days, what are you thinking right now, Guru Maharaj? I'm not able to think anything at all properly. Now you have some food. Now you have some water. Slowly he built it up. After 3 days, now I'm thinking clearly. See, when you didn't have any food, you didn't have any water, your mental capacities, etc., were completely dwindled. When you have food, when you have water, then everything comes back. Understand? Be grateful to these two, is what he said. So the food we eat is an intricate balance of so many living organisms, apart from me. Right from the plants, right from the insects, right from all those fertilizers, manure, whatever it is. And the farmers, the packers, and the distributors, right down to our supermarket and the delivery person. Everybody has contributed for that one handful of rice. So that I, which I seem to celebrate so much, which I seem to think is the center of the universe, actually, if you dissect it a little bit, like the chariot, you realize, Hare, I gave it so much of form, so much of seriousness to that notion of I. And this I is nothing but a compound of everything else except the I, you see. Those so many innumerable people sweat, innumerable organisms are there to take care of us. And innumerable humans contributed to us. And my genetics is contributed by parents, grandparents, etc. And the values I hold on to, which makes me peaceful. There is cause and effect. Like somebody teaches, don't try jumping out from a 12th floor in a building because you will fall. Somebody must have taught us or shown us. And so we are careful not to do that. What is true for physical world, as I keep saying, is true for the emotional and psychological world. There are universal laws which follow cause and effect. If we make such decisions, if we do such acts, we have to face the consequences. So somebody exposed this wonderful, intricate laws of dharma to us to say this is values. These values you embrace. These values you eschew. And those people who gave us this wonderful set of values, for which mostly people of Indian origins are actually celebrated all over the world. Whom do we owe it to now? Long back. Impersonal group of people. Their name also they didn't sign anywhere. They are called rishis and they are called seers. And they gave us this wonderful value. And whatever value we possess can be directly or indirectly traced to those rishis. You see. And so this emotional balance we maintain, whatever little or more we have, is because of the values we follow that has been given by rishis. That I portion of it is very honest. We owe it to the rishis. See. And if you dissect the I, we finally find 4 things which we need to be very grateful about. First one is all our father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, ancestors, pitras, it's called. Without that, my genes are the sum total of this lineage of my ancestors. So that I portion of it is my ancestors. The second thing is other human beings, right from my teacher, right from my neighbor, right from people I have not even seen. You know, nowadays, especially in this country, we can understand the complexity of something is grown somewhere It is actually processed somewhere else. It is packed somewhere else. It is stored somewhere else. Somebody else comes and delivers us and we eat. Nah. How many people's work is involved in that? You see. So if you see it, finally, we owe it to a lot of other men. And then the third one, the values, to the great inspiring souls who has reiterated the purpose, reiterated the values, whom we sum total call rishis. And the fourth one is nature. Nature, man. Suppose it has been very mercilessly hot and mercilessly drought is there. What can we do in spite of all this? And so we respect nature. We see divinity in nature. Why? Only then we'll respect it. Only then we'll bring a balance. Only then we don't take it for granted. And it's the same for other four also, you see. So we worship all these four so that we don't take it for granted, but we understand it as granted to us, you see. We don't take it for granted. We take things as granted, that it has been granted to us. Do we deserve it? Do we really deserve it? Just because as a child suddenly I came to this world, do I really deserve my mother's love and father's love? Na? From the mother's side and the father's side, they will say, what is this question at all? You are my child. Of course, there is no question of even be deserving or not. But from my angle, how can I take it for granted? Because there are sacrifices involved there, isn't it? So here, very beautifully, as per our Hindu culture, we feel very grateful because we feel indebted, because we understand that I, which is very important to me, whatever that means, is actually the composite of these four. My pitras, which means my ancestors, including my mother and father, and all these forces of nature, deities, gods, rishis, who have given us values, and hence helps us in the emotional balance and helps us in all our even pursuits within us, our process of self-discovery, and all other created beings who are part of the food web and hence feeding me. So this is how prayerful I need to be now. Prayerful to anybody, everybody else apart from me, because that I encompasses the whole existence. The I, which I'm talking about, is not just this. It is in fact opposite of this. Do you see the paradox here? That I consists of everything except what I think it is. That is why Mahatmas call that ego as a phantom. Phantom na irukku ana illa. You see, it is there but not there. It is a notion. And that notion, if we dissect it, we understand its totality. And we are very fortunate because we are in a satsang, I'm telling you. That totality also takes a name and form in form of Bhagavan, Brahman. And hence, I adore him for two reasons. First, I am doing all this chintana, right? I'm now doing so much of reflection about can a dog or can a pig or can a cow or even an elephant do this vichara? That who is this I? How am I here in the first place? Even gratitude is only an instinct there. It is not a thought over, sense of being there. It is just an instinct, which is just fleeting. But we can actually understand and realize this gratitude. And that is the reason why once we do a little chintana, what we are doing is only contemplation. We are just reflecting together. We had a very busy week. And sometime we have to spend for ourselves now to think about deeper things in life so that it adds meaning to what we do. So that we do what we do with renewed vigor and understanding. That's what we are trying to do. And I'm hoping it is making sense to all of us and we are all together. Since I can't see you, I'm not able to make that decision. So I'm using the word hope here. And so these four things is what we say we are indebted to. The moment you are indebted to something, you have two wonderful emotions attached to that. One is gratitude, second one is prayerfulness. And that prayerfulness came from my understanding, from my reflection, from my realization. So it was not a choice, it was an understanding. Do you see the difference? For example, a remembrance day for my great-grandfather is tomorrow. For example, if we don't have the understanding, we have to make a choice. What do I do? Should I have to go to the golf club or should I have to spend some time in gratitude? No, you have a choice here. Na? If there is a choice in such things, there is also a conflict. The moment you see and the gratitude and prayerfulness comes, do you think you'll have a choice there? You will naturally do what is the perfect thing to be done. There is no conflict there. And without a choice, without even, when I say choice, we have made this choice as a very glorified term. I'm just trying to show the other side of it. Yes, choice is a glorified term in a free society, but I'm showing the other side of choice inside. Should I do this or should I do that? Supposedly a choice which creates conflict. When we are clear and when we are in this days of understanding, there is no choice. I'm hungry. Shall I eat or not? Will not have you. We'll just go and eat. Na? Is there a conflict in that? I'm thirsty. There is a water hole nearby. I just drink. There is no conflict there. But I'm not thirsty. Shall I drink this color or that color? Other choice conflict. And you have wasted a little bit of time, little bit of energy, little bit of attention in these two. And then you say, I'm not thirsty, let me take tea. Then you will conclude. So here, when we are in that clarity, life becomes a breeze. Life becomes a flow. Life becomes, as some of the modern savants and teachers have said, choiceless awareness. And adu joyful life. There is no conflict inside. Kalau kalmasha chittana, kalmasham nale conflict. You see. And so here, when we start looking at ourselves about that we are just exploring together, and we see these are all constituting the I, immediately, right now, are you not feeling that gratitude? Are you not feeling a wider sense of, wow, it's a big universe, I'm connected? And are we not seeing our connection with so-called rest of us? And that is what will give us the choicelessness in the prayers when we understand this out of gratitude. Till that point of time, there is a need, there is a prayer. Yes, we do that. No problem. We'll come to that later. And so here, remember these four. And when I feel so much grateful to all these four agencies, which is the totality, and I worship that totality, I show my gratitude by adoring that totality in form of Radha Krishna Yugalamo, or you have your own Swami, or your spiritual mentor, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam. Then what I am doing is, I am trying to show my gratitude there. And that prayer is a different prayer. That prayer is the third type of prayer, which I said, when a son or a daughter is in a different country and made that as the homeland, parents obviously stay back in their homeland, and that person, that son or daughter, didrikshatetva, I just want to see you. Why? Gratitude and prayerfulness. Not just gratitude. When you say prayerfulness, you want to see them, you adore them, you remember all that which has been done by them, and then you want to show your gratitude. And once you do that, you are happy. That's also a prayer. So let me talk about the highest prayer first. The highest prayer is adoration. Highest prayer is contemplation with gratitude. And it is generally choiceless. The moment you get into gratitude, the totality is gone. And that consciousness which Sutre Manigana, I told you four, all the four are connected by one common thread. As Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, the thread of consciousness. And how am I contemplating all that? Because of consciousness within me. So the fifth subject for me, or the fifth portion for me, which constitutes my I, which is the fundamental portion, is consciousness. And that consciousness is also Sagunam Nirgunam. And the consciousness is God. That consciousness is Bhagavan. So how much I should adore it? But unfortunately, how can I adore it? Now, thankfully, that consciousness also takes a form called Bhagavan. And it has also come down. Luckily, in Sanatana Dharma, we say, it has come down. So it has actually emoted with people like us, left a charitram. And out of this tremendous gratitude towards consciousness, which is emanating from consciousness only, even gratitude, emotions, where did it come from? I use that which came from consciousness to adore that from which it came from. You see this? Adatha, in the Bhakti Sampradaya, a Mahatma self, Avan Arulal, Avan Tal Vanangi, by his grace, I am adoring him. You see, that is what the technical side of Vedanta, I'm just explaining you when he says that. And the lighter side of it for us to understand as a simple allegory is a story told by Ramana Maharshi, where there was a Upasaka of Vinayak, player. And generally, easiest Upasana can be done with only player. Now you have this Vinayakarna. What you need to do is, you take anything which is malleable and make into a small little, a small little hill. Asanam samarpayami, Vinayakar vandutar. And so a person who used to do the worship of Vinayaka daily had to go out of town, and he wanted to rush back in the afternoon to do Vinayaka puja and then eat. His wife thoughtfully gave him a lump of jaggery, which is good, jaggery, lump of unrefined sugar. And he went around. Unfortunately, he was late. It was a very hot day. He didn't know what to do. So he found a shady tree. He said, let me quickly eat something. And then he realized, I can't eat without worshipping. It has been my schedule, routine. So he looked around. He had only a ball of semi-molten jaggery because of heat, sticky jaggery. So he made into a lovely Vinayak. And then he started offering a little blade of grass here, everything, a seat for him, water for him, and inviting him, etc. All that he finished. But then he had to give some prasad, amsa. He has to offer some food for that Bhagavan. He looked around, he realized that he had used all this jaggery to make that Vinayak. Finally, you know what he did? He plucked a little portion of his trunk, took it aside like this, and then kept it, says, Mahaprasadam Nivedayami. You see. And our Ramana Bhagavan says, all the puja we do is like that only. It is him who is the totality. Can you separate anything from totality? Even if you separate Purna Mudachyate, it will also be a part of totality only. And we separate something, I have to show my gratitude, what to do. So even knowing very well, this is also yours. But I want to show my gratitude. Not for you, I'm doing all this. It's for my token of gratitude that I offer something and say, please accept this. And I do what is called as adoration. And a prayer is also, adoration is also a prayer. I do it out of gratitude, understanding. And our understanding without forgetting. And people may understand now, but buddhi bhramsham happens now. We forget, we get distracted. So when we are focused that I am doing worship as a gratitude, because without gratitude, I am not even a complete human. Kritagne nasti nishkritihi. Without gratitude, happiness is not possible. And this has been sort of, can I use the word, proven by scientific study. It is an obvious fact. But it has been also been researched by a lot of people in this country. And they said the value closest to well-being or happiness, as we call it in life, is gratitude. If you up this gratitude quotient in us, they clearly say our happiness quotient is also enhanced. These two are very intricately. Antaranga sadhanamnu peru. In Sanskritam, it's called Antaranga sadhan, which means as it goes up, this also goes up. You see? And that is the reason why I need to start finding ways and means to enhance my gratitude. And there are two ways of doing it. One is the default way of feeling grateful. Feeling grateful comes in fragments, bits and pieces, episodal, anecdotal. When somebody gives me something which I need, immediately I feel grateful for some time, you see, until I have the next need and the next object needs to come to me. Even that I may take it for granted. You see, at least that gratitude, feeling grateful is a good step instead of not feeling grateful and taking everything for granted. And then that becomes a problem. You see, then that becomes a problem for me, not for people around me. Me. If I think everything I'm entitled to all these things now, I'm signing up for misery already because I'm losing a wonderful opportunity to go in the path of gratitude which supports my happiness journey. And so, when we actually somehow find ways and means to feel grateful, at least we look for some anecdotes, we look for some things which positively happened to me, and then use that to feel grateful for the people who gave me, which is only a fragment of gratitude. But there is something else called being grateful. There is a difference between feeling grateful, which is if then grateful. Being grateful is forever grateful, you see, where I train myself to be in that state of gratitude no matter what happens around me, because whatever happens around me, including me, is a part of totality only. So when I am in the state of being grateful, I actually practice gratitude and not wait for an incident or an episode for me to be a trigger for gratitude. And being in that state of gratitude all the time can happen only by prayers in form of adoration and contemplation. So that's why I do it. And we saw it in the religious lectures in the week, where our Prahalada Alvar, when I was telling yesterday, that's what I was thinking I need to elaborate. I didn't have time for that. But now we have enough time. Our Prahalada Swami, the great devotee, is telling Narasimha Bhagavan, Lord himself, that you don't need any of our prayers, you don't need any of the adoration. You are Nijalabha Purna. You're the boss. You are everything. You don't have a need. You are complete. You are perfect. So generally, when we don't need something, somebody gives us something, what will he say? He'll say, hey, I don't need, already cluttered inside. You take it back. But Bhagavan does not say that. Whatever we give, he takes it. He accepts it. Not for his sake. He says, whatever adoration we do for Bhagavan, he returns back that honor million times more, so that we shall be more benefited by his accepting that adoration. And the example he gives to make it more clear is, when we look ourselves in the mirror, and we see our image in the mirror, and the example here is the one standing before the mirror is Bhagavan, whom we worship as Krishna. And the one who is the image in the mirror is me, who thinks I am apart from all this totality. Fragment. If I have to see the mirror image adorned well, I need to adorn the original object, even if the original person doesn't need it. But the image needs it now. All religions use this metaphor that we are made in the image of God, etc. Any religion. Because that's our fundamental stuff. Because we are also conscious. God is also conscious. I'll tell you Vedanta behind it. Maybe the other religions won't explain this. But Sanatana Dharma explains it very well. We are also Chetanam. And that Maha Chetanam, which is sum total of all consciousness, is also consciousness. So we have a similarity between Krishna and us. The similarity is, he is also a conscious entity. We are also a conscious entity. And the similarity stops there. He is Sarvajna, we are Alpajna. He is all-knowing, we don't know at all anything. He is all-powerful. We need 4 people to hold us. And he is all-pervading, but I think I'm pervading only here, to my body. And so there are other differences when it comes to qualities. But as a base substance, can I use that word, as the intrinsic state. Our Bhagavan and I are both conscious entities. That's why we always say, using that similarity, we are made in image of God, etc. Because God is conscious, we are also conscious in the Samya. And we are made in that image, isn't it? So what happens is, that image which is there in the mirror, and the original person whose image is in the mirror, when that image has to be adorned, you adorn the original image, original person, and automatically image is adorned. So when we adore Bhagavan, being in gratitude, what happens is, we actually serve ourselves in the long run and please that Bhagavan who returns back all our adoration in form of Anandam. That's how gratitude and joy or happiness is intimately linked. I can't be grateful to myself now, can I be? I'm very grateful to me. What is the gratitude then? You see, I need to be grateful to something apart from me, that I and the object of gratitude has to be different now. If I'm very grateful to myself, I think that's a definition of narcissism. I don't know. So here I understand the sum totality. I am still not having that wisdom to understand whether I am part of it or I am the total. All that I don't know. I know that I know nirku, but the real I is this totality, and I need to be right now in that state of ignorance. Be grateful to that totality, which is what entails, a portion of it entails what I think I am. So what I do right now, I adore him. And that adoration is a prayer. And the prayer has not come from a standpoint of a weakness. It has come from a standpoint of clear understanding. And in that understanding, when I adore with gratitude, it comes back to me. It comes back to me as happiness, because the more I hold on to this little mistaken I, more miserable I become, is personal experience of almost all of us now. The more I'm thinking only about me, and more I take things for granted as if I'm entitled to all these things, more intolerant I will be, more irritable I will be, and more miserable I will be. It's obvious. And that is the reason why prayers are also done in form of adoration, puja, in form of showing my state of gratitude to that this Krishna is not just here, is Sarvavyapi. And for me to show a gratitude and to adore that which is present everywhere has contained itself in this small little deity out here. And the example we already gave is that of water vapor and condensed water. Water vapor is everywhere. But for me to actually feel it and emote with it, what can I do with something which is totally unseen? When I condense it with love, that omnipresent water vapor, omnipresent in this world, becomes water, and now it can quench my thirst. And that is the highest prayer, the lovely form I have of that divinity which is Vishwasmai Namaha. That divinity is everything. And I'm showing my gratitude to that divinity which is everything, who is also this, sitting for me to bless me, so that when I give whatever adoration I have, whatever adoration I do to that deity, it returns back as joy, as happiness. And that's how gratitude completely comes back as joy, happiness, as santosham. So that's what is the highest prayer. Now that we are clear about it, now that we are clear about a son or a daughter who comes to a different place and has a prayer just to see the father or the mother. We don't say, "Na manasla irundha porume." No, I want to show it. Father and mother is there in my manas, so what? I want to show it. Why? Only then I'll feel complete. So I want to show my love to Bhagavan, and thankfully Bhagavan has brought himself down in form of the deities in temple or in my own home, so that we can show my adoration. Because as long as I think I need to take care of the body and body is me, I also need a deity for me to show adoration. If I have transcended that I am the body, then you don't need all this, possibly. But even those Mahatmas who don't have the sense of I am the body, they still adored such deities in temples. So it shows that there is no binding for it. But there is one binding. If I think I am the body, I need to worship a form of deity. There is no other way for me. And we didn't make any kalpana of the form. It is the deity which is all pervading, all conscious, all compassionate, which has taken the form so that we emote with the deity and deity can emote with us, you see. And that is the highest prayer. Now, with that understanding, we are here, highest prayer is there. Suppose there are steps to go there. First of all, the first entry into the prayer, which is what we call petition. I want your help. You please come and support me, etc. Is a petition we do when we are in need. And Bhagavan says this is the most common prayer, and it's a very fortunate prayer. People who are afflicted, who are in need, dire need, those people do a little bit of a prayer in form of a bhajan. Bhajan means I am adoring Bhagavan the way he likes it, so that his attention is on me, which can be actually encashed as solving my problem. I'm sorry to put it in such business terms, but I'll mean Chaturvida bhajante mam jana suhridinorjuna arti artharti jignasu jnani chavartarshava. So obviously the greatest form of prayer is adoration. Let it be. It's called Nishkamya Bhakti, or a love or devotion towards the Lord without any strings attached, etc. We have a way to go there. Let it come when it comes. But right now, to go there, at least let me practice prayers now. Let me practice prayers with absolute faith. And when I have a need, I pray. Now, if we are, I don't know what else word I use, intelligent. Actually, I use every opportunity for me to pray. Why? Because I now understand where I need to go there, but I'm not there yet. I understand prayer as it is. Prayer per se is a value I want to embrace because I know that's where I want to go. So now, do you understand? When there is a chance for me to pray, I immediately grab the chance. And of course, if I am in need, when I am in crisis, when I pray, there is a greater probability of this crisis being solved than when I don't pray. That is there. Are all my prayers answered? They are. But not when we want it to be, and not in the form which we think it will be. But prayers are answered 100%. That's especially prayers before a Mahatma and Jnani will always be answered. Our Swamiji says, be careful what you pray before a Jnani. Because any prayer before a living Jnani, or Jnani irkar, or a Mahatma is there, when you go and pray before him, it will be 100% answered. When I say living Jnani, even Samadhi of a Jnani, or even Adhisthana of a Mahatma, all that, they are living there only. So, when you do that, it will be answered. Why he said be careful is, if not in this Janma, we may have to take another birth to get that prayer answered. You see? Because the prayer made in the divine presence has to be answered. I believe our Swamiji said that Jnani, that great soul, that realized soul, that Mahapurusha, he need not actually personally see he prayed here. There is an aura of divinity around him. And our Swamiji gave a nice name. I think he called it God Divine Force or something, GDF. That God Divine Force is like all the other lower forces of nature, we call it Devas. Those people are waiting at beck and call of that Mahan. If a person comes in the presence and say, this is what I want, they immediately say, I will take it. You see, the Mahatma has just to be a witness there. Just like when you go to a top person of a country, maybe the prime minister of a country, he has a council of ministers. Let us assume that all the council of ministers are absolutely subservient to the prime minister. So when somebody comes with a supplication of, say, I want an educational allowance, then immediately the education minister says, I am here, I will take it. In his presence, you separately go, he may not do it. In his presence, he'll say, I will take care. And look at the Prime Minister and smile. Just an example. Suppose you want a little help in putting a road properly in your village. Then the urban development or rural development, I will take it. Give. And the Marada Nadukuma. In a Mahatma's Adhishtana, Jivan Mukta's Adhishtana, Maha Acharya Purusha's Adhishtana, or if we are fortunate, Acharya Purusha who can talk and speak in a physical form with us, in his presence, all prayers are answered. Really answered. 100% answered. It may be now or later. And that's the power of prayers. So here to start with, Bhagavan says, the starting level is prayer in itself is a wonderful value to embrace. And when I get an opportunity to use that prayer also to take care of my day-to-day activities, even better, 2 in 1 for. But don't make it only 1 for 1 there. Don't please think that prayers are only for my loan problem, for my education problem, for my health problem alone. Prayer has far more capacity than that to elevate our inner excellence. Yes, it also takes care of this, but it can also elevate us. And that's the real goal we are fighting towards. Others are only means. Do we want to give up the end in nourishing the means? We don't want to. Kabir Das ji uses the word vyaj do ke muluk ho baite. In the interest of the interest, you have lost the capital. And there are a lot of firms now who promise in India, they used to, some finance firms, Devi Finance, where they'll say you invest 1 lakh, every year I'll give you 23%. And people go, they invest 1 lakh. First year, pakka check, 23,000 will come. Second year, slightly delayed, 23,000. Third year, company call. You see, in the interest of getting some interest in our investments, we lost the investment. Mool. Mool means capital. Our Kabir Das ji says, Byaj do ke mool mat ko vere chalna hai dur musafir kahe so baithe. You have a long way to go. These are all small issues. Yes, put your effort, pray. Pray with faith. Most often than not, your problem will be solved. Most often than not, whether your desire is fulfilled or not, need will be fulfilled. But then don't give up prayers, because prayers in itself is a great value, as I told you. That's why I started off with the top step, to understand the sense of going and praying and focusing itself is a great habit for our inner excellence of gratitude, happiness, and love in our heart. Because gratitude and love are very close to each other. Gratitude and joy are very close to each other. Love and joy are not close to each other. They are one and the same, you see. And so here, the beauty is, Bhagavan says, some prayers people do, after trying their best, they understand their circle of influence, their circle of effort is not enough to get results. So for addressing their circle of concern, which I can't control, what do? Pray. Pray. And then forget it, you see. You've done your effort, you've done your prayer, efforts takes care of my circle of influence. Prayer, my heartful prayer has taken care of circle of concern, and we can learn to slowly drop that concern after doing the prayer. I've done my prayer for things which I can't control. And nobody ever said prayers can replace our efforts. Nobody ever said that. In our normal day-to-day life, prayers supplement our efforts. And the example given by our Swamiji is, when water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, all our efforts are somewhere close to 210. If you want the extra 2 degrees to make the whole difference between water and steam, steam can create energy, water may not. And so that 2 degrees is the prayer. After 99% perspiration, 1%. The last 1% pray and top. And that is Artha prayers. People who are in need, people who are afflicted, people whose basic needs are being jolted. Basic needs does not just mean food, water, shelter, air, etc. Basic needs also means, a normal name in the society, see, or mental peace, or harmony in the family. Food is there on the table, shelter is there, air is there, harmony in the family. These are basic needs. When there is a danger to harmony in the family, prayers. See. And then the second type of prayers is artha-arthi. Artha-arthi means everything is there, and yet I would want a little more. I have a want. It's not a need. I have a want to have a better standard of life. And so I go and pray for a better standard of life. My basic food is taken care. I want better food. My basic shelter is taken care. I want better shelter. My basic transportation mode is taken care. I want a better transportation mode. Basic clothing is taken care. I want a better clothes. So I want more money. I want more power to purchase, etc. So I go and pray to Bhagavan. It's called Artha-arthi, for more security, because I think there is security in these things. And Bhagavan is very happy, he says, if you pray, if you do bhajana, for this nala prayer. Artha-arthi means he is doing bhajana, he is doing adoration or worship, etc., for a need to be met or a want or a desire to be fulfilled. Bhagavan said, please come. They also come to me and ask, some of them, not all. And for some people, they understand the web which is created by the mind cannot be unwebbed by the mind itself. And so they appeal to something which is fundamental to the mind, which is consciousness, which is Bhagavan, to unravel this mind and get out from the clutches of the burdens of the mind, the tendencies of the mind, the burden of my karma, etc., and liberate from this attachment, from this complex web of all the past, present, future, etc. And they say, let me be liberated. Let me be actually the Lord of my mind. Give me that liberation. I don't want to be born again, you see. And they also do bhajana. So these three are the people who are petitioning Bhagavan for a need. The first one is doing for affliction. The second one is doing out of desire. The third one is doing for the freedom from desires and needs, which means I don't want to be born again. I just want to be in the state of being, consciousness. And I understand that you put this play in play. So only you can press the unplay button for me, because I didn't get entangled in this mess, man. You are the one who have entangled me in this mess because I wanted to, not because you wanted me to get into trouble. The one who tied me is the one who can untie me. So they go and pray for moksha, or for jnana, for knowledge, for wisdom. Let's put it that way. It is less intimidating. When I start seeing things as they are, that is liberation. When I am not snared by things which are actually going to be hurtful to me, that is liberation. And my heart filled with love towards one and all, because you are in everybody. That's what is liberation. These are called mumukshu. So these three come from a position of differing needs. You see, this is physical needs. This is a higher level, security needs, which is artha. And this is a transcendental need, which is moksha. And then there are some people who have transcended, and they do it out of this love they have. Like the son or a daughter who have moved out, and finally they just want to see their parents out of love. And the need, if at all we call it a need, is emanating from selfless love. You see, and that is the supreme prayer. And Bhagavan says 4 types of people pray. 3 of them are a different category. And this 4th one is a different category. His prayers are out of love. And I feel very proud that he's praying, you see, or she is praying, because I consider them to be my own. They are no different from me, yet they pray. That is the beauty of the 4th type of a person called Jnani. And so prayers can come from the initial state of insecurity and weakness, no doubt about it. Niradhar ko adhar ek ram naam. Prayer can come also for supplementing my strengths for a higher level need. Prayer can also come for my neither weakness nor strength. I just want to stop playing this game of constant, samsara. Give me liberation. Give me jnana. I want out, you say. Enough of all this gambling with the world. I want out. And Bhagavan actually bestows that also. The fourth one is absolutely a prayer from the ground of strength, the ground of wisdom, the ground of clarity, from the ground of gratitude and love. And that prayer is what a jnani does. Jnani also prays. See, all the songs written by all they are all in this prayer only. That prayer has come from love. So at times the love will even de-promote itself to promote that which it loves. So it will even lower itself to heighten the one which it adores. So when many of the Alvars or Nayanmars or the great saints and the great Mahatmas have written kirtans, saying that mind is so corrupted, my mind is completely weak, etc., it is to adore the beloved in a better way, so that it can completely get into that state of my beloved is far greater than me, and so I want to adore it. Many times when a child comes to the mother and explains something, the mother said, what is that? What do I know? I know nothing. You tell me. To elevate that little kid, even a parent is ready to lower himself or herself down. Likewise, these Mahatmas, they want to go into that position. It's called Naicha Anusandhanam. Very difficult to understand. That's a state of love. So they lay over themselves to adore their Lord even better. You see. And that is the final prayer which comes from the ground of strength, love, clarity, and jnana. So obviously, when we look at this spectrum of prayers, some prayers can also come from a position of weakness. Some prayers can come from the position of faith and understanding the limitations I have. And some prayers come purely from a position of real strength, real wisdom, real understanding, real love. And to get there, which is the state of joy, well-being, Bhagavan says, practice prayers. Use every instance to add prayer to it, so that that prayer becomes our practice. And as we go higher and higher and higher, that gratitude, that adoration, that remembrance will also be fortified. And that's what Bhagavan is saying, Sukriti. They are all very fortunate when they pray. Somebody is in misery, okay? That's why he is praying. Would you call him fortunate? That fortunate fellow is afflicted, you say. Bhagavan is saying that fortunate fellow who is afflicted, he is either having a problem or a disease or a big financial crisis. Bhagavan says fortunate. You know why? Because that person in that crisis is not going right direction towards the purpose of life, which is I shall pray to Bhagavan to get rid of this problem along with my efforts. So the direction he is taking by his buddhi, by determining that I shall supplicate to Bhagavan, that value which he has adopted, Bhagavan is very happy. He is not saying he is very fortunate because of the misery. Obviously, we say unfortunate fellow is having a misery. Here, Sukriti, fortunate fellow, is having a misery and is praying. So obviously, misery is not the fortune part of Bhagavan's statement. It is the decision to pray, which is going to not only take him out from this temporary problem of misery, is going to elevate himself as a person because of prayer. Bhagavan says, Sukriti, instead of being bitter at me, instead of finding fault in me, he is trying to supplicate to me out of faith, and that's what Bhagavan wants to pick and celebrate in that devotee. See? So Bhagavan has said, Chaturvida Vajantema Jana Suvrti Arjuna Arti Artharti Jignasu Jnani Chavadarshapa. A person who is afflicted, a person who wants to enhance the external standard of living, a person who wants to be the life itself without death, which is called liberation, which is called clear wisdom, clear love, clear dispassion, jnanam, bhakti, vairagya, moksha, who wants liberation, not to be born again so that he don't need to die again. And then finally a person who prays being a jnani. That person who prays being a jnani. The one who does bhajana being a jnani, highest. That's the prayer of adoration. That's the prayer of contemplation after attaining the goal. You see? And that is the state of jnanis. And when their prayers are sung by us, we also slowly move towards that, because those prayers came from a heart which was brimming with love, which is brimming with wisdom. And when we also sing the same words, each word has the corresponding bhava, each word has the corresponding meaning. It will inspire the right meaning. It will fire the right centers here. And it will also inspire that which is here. And slowly we also progress. That's why generally we sing the songs of Mahatmas or sung it out of love, out of gratitude, and out of the tremendous vishwasam towards Bhagavan, because it inspires towards these three, which is what we aspire for finally. Other things are means, which is love, gratitude, absolute vishwasam, you see, or absolute faith. And that by singing Mahatma's Kirtan, trying to understand its little meaning, we can also go towards that wonderful goal, right? So I think I'll stop here, and I'm sure there'll be some questions. If the question is about how do I do a prayer properly, I assure you, tomorrow we'll address it adequately. And we will use Kunti Stuti to see how beautifully she is. Like a lotus slowly flowering. The outer level petals first, then next level, then you have this carpala, whatever you call inside. Likewise, our Kunti Devi very beautifully is flowering in that prayers. From our first verse to 26th verse, she's teaching us how to pray. And she had a very, very tough life. You can't imagine what she has been. I will tell you that also, so that you understand where it comes from. It comes from her experience. It is not somebody who has never suffered in life telling us, Vipada Santuna Sashvatana, nobody can suffer. The mental turmoil, the intellectual turmoil, the physical turmoil, and that sense of helplessness she must have felt, yet she didn't. You see? Kunti Devi. I'm wondering why there is no temple for Kunti Devi. You see? Draupadi Kunti. And she was the only person, to the best of my knowledge, who immediately dropped her body the moment she heard that Krishna is no longer with us now. Krishna na puttanu avlo prema. In spite of ups and downs in her life, in spite of the mistakes she made, all that, a normal human being. And you see reality in Mahabharata, real practicality, the problem she faced when she was, in her parents' place, or when she came and became the wife of Pandu, and the curse Pandu had, and how she had to manage when Pandu died, 5 children. What shall she do? And she comes completely helpless to a person who is blind to her plight, not physically, to her plight, who was very, very self-centered and tremendous politics. And she, Raja Mata, maintained her dignity. She maintained her composture. She maintained her repose because of the faith she had in one person, Thakurji. And that Maharani is giving a prayer now. You should listen. She is teaching us how to do that prayer. Our Swamiji pointed out saying, science of prayer is here. And let us unravel that tomorrow. So the how questions, we will address it tomorrow. If there are any other discussion points and questions, we'll certainly take it. Sadguru Maharaj ki jai.